Once again, welcome back to Supernova. The other side of winners semis, the winner of which will go on to face Venom after his Game 5 win over Zhime, is no less historic than what we went over in our last video. Today, we're going to talk about Flipp versus Malachi. Flipp is an up-and-coming Snake player from Connecticut. A few months before Supernova, I had only heard of him because he made some really cool combo videos at the end of 2015. And then, at Shots Fired 2, he would go on to place third, picking up a win most notably over Mr. Elves.
That's it. And Flipp is in loser semis, huge upset, eliminating our Paragon champion, Mr. Elves.
Now, at Supernova, this is his chance to prove that Shots Fired was not a fluke, and that he is in fact one of the new top players representing the East Coast. However, he is facing off against New York's most hidden of bosses, Malachi. Malachi is playing a unique set of characters for PM, in that they are very common and very well developed thanks to Melee. He played both Sheik and Peach. And both of those characters have been represented quite well by Melee players over the years. You've got Neutral King playing Sheik, you've got a variety of Melee players including Laud down in MDVA playing Peach, and he might not even hold the distinction to the title of Best Sheik-Peach Dual Main in New York City, thanks to the fact that Jaden, formerly known as Vans, is currently the region's #1 player. But Jaden thinks Malachi is better than most people give him credit for. In fact, when asked why he didn't enter Supernova, this was his response.
And you know what's funny about this? Is Jaden didn't enter, our #1 player. And you know what he said? Well, everyone's like, how are you? You guys defend New York. He's like, Malachi's got it. And him and Malachi play the same character, Peach and Sheik.
Yeah, no, he literally said Malachi's got it.
Yeah.
Which is like,
And so far, he's been right. Malachi has looked great today, using both of his characters to pick up wins over first Ripple and then Junebug, the #1 seed of the event, to move on to winner semis. And now, we get to see a matchup that has probably happened in PM's history. Like I've said, there's a lot of Melee Sheiks and a lot of Melee Peaches who have been dabbling in PM on and off over the years, and as I alluded to in my video on Soth vs Professor Pro, Flipp is far from the first Snake to be doing it at the top level. But these guys play a little different. Malachi chooses to start Sheik, and off the bat, we can already see the levels of matchup understanding and awareness being displayed by both players in a way that you typically don't see in a PM top 8 this early in the meta. Whether it's Flipp DIing towards his own down smash to avoid getting chain grabbed by Sheik, or Malachi using his down B to transform into Zelda, knowing that doing so would make Snake C4 fall off of him in order to live a little bit longer, but Flipp just seems to have the edge. His punish game on Malachi's Sheik is brutal, and as he gets yet another tranquilizer lead to close out game 1, Malachi thinks about what he needs to do to win this set. And it's not using Sheik's mobility in order to get through Snake's projectiles and get to him closer. It's playing an entirely different game. And so Malachi goes Peach. This is the same strategy that Malachi employed when he beat Junebug, starting off with the Sheik and then switching to Peach once he had a better understanding of the matchup. And he racks up a quick 100% on Flipp, staying in his face, not giving him any room to throw grenades or plant a mine, and then he gets him in the air. Instead of trying to come down, Flipp uses his up B to go even higher, towards the top of FD, before detonating the C4 that he's already stuck on Malachi. Not only does this disrupt Malachi's attempts to keep him in the air, it also brings him closer as Flipp falls past him. And Flipp takes the chance to land a second C4 and then detonate it as he hits the ground, killing Malachi off of a combo that started with Flipp at the top blast zone and Malachi at 60%. It's a setup we've seen before. Flipp loves to show this off in his combo videos. But now he's pulling it out in winner's side of top 8, up 1-0, and looking primed to take the set. But Malachi is not done yet. He returns to the same aggressive game plan that helped him rack up so much damage in the first place, staying in Flipp's face for the entire game and slowly building a lead that allows him to take game 2. For game 3, Flipp takes him to Battlefield, ideally hoping that the platform will help him to lock down Malachi's Peach instead of giving him all of the open airspace that he had on FD. but Malachi just starts using the platforms. He's making it very difficult for Flipp to even catch him and find situations where he can hit Malachi near the ground and get his strong combo started. He's mostly catching him with stray explosions and random hits, and Malachi is living forever. And all of a sudden, Malachi's up 2-1.
Every approach I have, you've nullified it. I gotta hit you once and run away. And that's what he's doing to Flipp right now. Look at Flipp's face. Flipp is usually...
Like I said, this is the exact same thing that happened when Malachi played against Junebug. He dropped game 1, went peach, and then won the next 2 games cleanly. We're no longer in best of 3 territory. He needs to win 1 more. But he starts off game 4 great. He puts on 86% in 10 seconds. But Flipp's punish game is starting to match it. And more importantly, he's mixing up how he's approaching. He's no longer camping horizontally, throwing projectiles like Grenade and Tranquilizer and hoping to catch Malachi on or near the ground. Now he's approaching vertically, dropping in with grenades right next to Malachi and giving him no space to get out. And as soon as he gets Malachi to last stock, he just goes nuts. Once again, he starts styling, trying to feel himself and get a crazy combo to end the game. And even though Malachi gets out of it, he still closes out the game with a clean 2-stock. And Malachi goes back to the same stage he lost game 1 on, PS2. But this time, he's playing Peach, and given that he already won on FD, this is the closest he can get to a flat stage that lets him employ the same strategy that worked out great for him on FD. Malachi is still taking the pressure to Flipp, but Flipp is doing a great job of controlling center stage and finding the hits that he needs. Eventually, he lands a C4 setup to take the first stock. Malachi manages to keep it even with a crazy ledge hog. But Flipp's new strategy of coming in vertically is working so incredibly well for him, and it's a complete change-up from the strategy that Malachi was completely obliterating in games 2 and 3. As he takes a big lead in game 5, once again, Flipp starts strat style. He almost gets a crazy end to the set, but Malachi is able to buffer a float air dodge out. And he starts to claw it back. But when you're stuck against Snake and you're already at kill percent, there's only so much you can do. Flipp knows that his win condition is literally any launcher hit into detonating that C4. And eventually, when Malachi touches his shield, he gets hit by up B out of shield into C4, and Flipp moves on to winners finals. This set is a phenomenal display of the new tech and understanding of the meta that's being pushed by new top players. It's a re-exploration of what characters that we've seen time and again in PM can do in the 2016 meta, and it's a great example of how the strategies that might work at the beginning of the set can be adapted and improved upon to continue achieving success even as the other player is trying to counterplay them. But this set is way more important than that. Anyone who's a fan of PM in 2021 will probably recognize both of these names as some of the greatest PM players of all time. And I would argue that this is both of their breakout events. Malachi has never made a top 8 in a major before. And yet he took out Junebug, the number 1 player in the world, to make it to winners semis. He'll go on to place 3rd at this event. And we'll learn plenty more about his PM career down the line. But Flipp continues to win after beating Malachi. He will beat Venom in 2 sets to claim 1st place at Supernova, and, as a result, 1st place on the Project M circuit leaderboards. At a time when players like Junebug, Dark, and Frozen were considered to be the best players not only on the East Coast, but some of the best in the world, the fact that 2 new titans had emerged from Connecticut and New York to challenge and even claim those titles was a huge shakeup in the scene. Both of these players would go into their next events as the favorites to watch out for. 2 players pushing their characters further than we had seen before in completely different ways. But for the time being, we've been reminded that both Connecticut and New York are regions not to be slept on. In addition to Malachi and Zhime, as we already mentioned, other players like Switch and Fresh are also having breakout tournaments in Supernova. This is one of the first majors of 3.6 where all of the East Coast is able to come out in force. And seeing these players face off against the best from all of the other regions makes for a great way to see where regions really stand. And it is clear that New York, especially, is one of the best regions in the world, even if they didn't quite claim the gold this time. But going into their next major, it's not just Malachi we have to watch out for. There is a host of players from New York and New Jersey who are going to be bracket threats in the years to come.